coming at you with a beer review out in the backyard again, of course. We're moving into a real hot spell. It's going to be in the hundreds for the next several days. So, hey, why not get a big one? Here it is. It's from Lagunitas Brewing. It's the 12th of Never, or we could do the bottle this way, the can I should say. There we go, the 12th of Never. It's a big old, this is a special can. It's a 19-ounce can, and this was released on June 19th of this year. I'm looking forward to trying this one. It is an American Pale Ale. It's supposed to be a very hoppy one. That's no surprise with Lagunitas Brewing. It's 5.5% ABV, so sessionable enough, and 45 IBUs. It's supposed to be full of a blend of old and new hops, so we'll see what that means. Let's get her cracked open. All right, well, we know Lagunitas. They're out of good old Petaluma, California, the home of the U.S. Arm Wrestling Championships. And we know they were bought out by the big boys, but every so often I've got to throw Lagunitas in there. I do enjoy them. Now take a look at that. That really is light. That is like a wheat color, right? It's a very golden wheat, very light. It's a thin head. Their bubble's still rising up. Let's get the nose. Oh, okay, a lot of interesting citrus right away. First I want to say there's a light sweetness, and I got a light bit of caramel. Man, it has a scent that makes me think it might be quite dry, but a lot of citrus character is kind of interesting because I got several things at once. I got a little bit of like an orange kind of note on there. I got a little bit of like maybe a hint of the grapefruit note and a little bit of lemon, but it was mostly that first scent was all dominated by that little bit of caramel scent and all citrus. And this one by pine and a light dankness and a little more of that lemon kicking in. Oh, it's a nice smell. It's very interesting. It's very much citrus, as I said. I got a lot of lemon going on it. Maybe a little bit of grapefruit, maybe a little bit of like some orange on there, or orange rind, I would say more like. Definitely got a light resin and dankness going on, as I said before. There's some hints of tropical in the background. Can't say exactly what they are. And I get a bit of a grassiness, maybe just the lightest, bit of like a peppery bit to it too. But it's an interesting scent. I'm not getting a lot more than that, so we're gonna just jump on in. Cheers. Wow. All right. It's a light body, and wow, it clears the palate. I always go there first. It clears the palate out for the most part. It really cleans it out, waters it out, and just leaves a little bit of that hop kick, that hop resin sitting on your mouth. It's really interesting, but it's a very light taste. It tastes much lighter than 5.5% ABV, let me tell you that. On the front side, it's still mostly all of that citrus. It's kind of hard to pin down the citrus. I'm definitely getting lemon. I'm definitely getting like some grapefruit and grapefruit rind. I feel like I get just a bit of some orange on it, but I'm getting just a little bit of berries on that too. Like I don't know, I'll go with it's just light, but it's like a blackberry. Just a little bit of that grassiness, and just, boy, I don't know, it's coming from the resin, but just, it still feels like I get a little bit of a peppery kick on it as well, like a white pepper. It's interesting, it has a little bit of a kick, a bite. It's kind of pretty smooth, but you got the resin stuff kicking in from the hops, and very dry. I mean, it just really dries out on the palate quite a bit. Yeah, it's a fun little beer. This would be a great little beer for, taking to the beach. I mean, see, it reminds me of like a lawnmower beer, but the truth is, I know it's 5.5%, so I don't consider that really being a lawnmower beer. So I'm going to take a little time with this, and I'll be back. Well, I've been enjoying this beer. The 12th of Never. I've been really curious about their motivation of naming the beer that. The 12th of Never was a song that was put out by Johnny Mathis in, I don't know, the 50s, 60s. Longer than I'm going to remember. And then it was later recorded by people like Donny Osmond and others. You ask me if I love her, I must explain. It goes on something like that. I do remember the song. It's a drawn-out ballad type song. just not really my thing. But at any rate, maybe they're just singing about how much they love the beer, right? And I must explain. So, all right, well, I'm going to explain to you that this really isn't my style of beer. I got to tell you, I've never been a huge pale ale fan. I do like the American pale ales that are hopped up. This particular one, though, that what disqualifies it for me in my personal taste is just how dry it is and just how much lemon I feel like I get out of it. And it's very light, so all those characteristics are really going to stand out. All right, so where are we going with scores for this one? We got to start off with American Pale Ale. Honestly, though, I do have to say it has to score pretty good in terms of style. I mean, I think it's a pretty decent beer. I think, most pale ales I don't consider fabulous, and the fact that there's a lot of hop character for me kind of holds it up. I kind of dig on that. So for pale ale, I'm actually going to give it a 91. But in terms of my overall, I definitely have to move it down. It's just not my favorite style, as I say. So I think I'm going to go all the way down to like an 86. I think it's a B beer. It's a pretty well made B beer at that. But yeah, I like a little bit more sweetness, and they really took all of that off. To get it this dry, they had to ferment it really down, which means all those sugars attenuated into alcohol. So it's probably a pretty small grain bill in terms of percentages. Here it is again. It's the 12th of Never from Lagunitas Brewing out of Petaluma, California, in a 19-ounce can. Now, I can't complain about that. This is Kevin at Clemens Hoby saying life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I'll see you in the next beer review.